Now I'm going to get to the manufacturing thing, and this is one of the most exciting things, not over the next year, not over the next 3 years, but over the next 5 years of America's future. And I hope to God we have the right people in the government to be able to take advantage of this, because it is a rare opportunity. It's as great that I can see as at the end of the Second World War. We've been losing a lot of jobs to Asia. We've been losing a lot of jobs to China, but look what's happening. In China, there are major problems in their manufacturing sector. First of all, there are wages that are going up. The reliability has gone down. There's a lot of problems in shipping and costs and so forth. And so they are losing their edge in making low-cost products. So that's the first thing. In addition to that, they have shipping problems and property rights problems. And so they are they are losing that edge that American businessmen crave by moving jobs over there. Europe, as you all know, has the lowest productivity of them all. They have an aging population, and they have a very inflexible system in line. They are not competitive with America. The proof of it is we are sending more products over there, and that is another confirmation of that. Japan has an aging population. They are complete lack of natural resources, and they have a mountain of debt. We have 101 debt to GDP today. Japan has 250%. So they have a huge problem in there, and they have openly stated that they can no longer produce cars in Japan and be competitive with America. They are bringing their plants over to America and producing the cars over here. So you can see that in our major competitor, we are starting to turn the corner to be competitive. And when you think about the fact that we are now going to be the lowest cost energy producer, there's a lot of incentive for companies all over the world to start their manufacturing here. But here is the most exciting thing in the closing few moments that I want to show you about what productivity can do for American manufacturing. Here's a picture of the Nike shoe. You're all familiar with Nike tennis shoes. This is not 3D printing. This is computer-aided printing. How many of you in here are familiar with 3D printing? See your hands. Okay, quite a number of you. This is one of the most exciting things about manufacturing. But let me get into the computer-aided printing. Nike has now been able to create a tennis shoe that is sewn like a sock. They do not have to send this overseas anymore. They can do it right in America. They can now, with this new technology, weave a shoe and eliminate 35 steps in the manufacturing process. They sew the shoe, and then they glue it to the sole, and it's done. Only 2 steps instead of 37. They have eliminated waste by 66%. They've cut their manufacturing costs. It's going to increase the margins. And you can now, in the future, go in, get your leg scanned, and they can sew you a tennis shoe right on the spot. Any color you want, any design you want, designed specifically for your shoe. And this will allow them to manufacture in the United States instead of going all over the country. So that is a major breakthrough in manufacturing. But the most exciting and the one that's almost hard to believe is 3D printing. And by the way, I was introduced to 3D printing by one of our clients who started one of the companies that's actually now operating. And when he told me about it, I thought, well, Ray's off on another dream. And I didn't really pay any attention to it for the last 20 years. And for the last 20 years, it hasn't really done anything because the machines were so expensive and so inflexible that they weren't practical. But they were already working on it. Today, they're bringing these machines down from $40,000 to $15,000. And you can take any product you want. You can put it in the machine, the computer scans it, figures out 3D modulation of that. Then they will build that machine. You pour the natural resources in there. They will build it layer upon layer and layer, and you will actually have a product. They'll be able to eventually download on the internet a product. You take it into your machine, and you literally produce that product. Those things that are on that chart now are actually produced by putting it into a machine and printing it out as a finished product with all the moving parts and everything else. In Holland last year, an 83-year-old Dutch woman received a titanium jaw. Her jaw was damaged, and they implanted that titanium jaw, which was produced in a 3D machine. The thing that is the most astounding of all of this is what they're doing in medicine. That's probably 10 or 15 years away. But what they're doing is they're taking human cells, they are reproducing them into the machine, and they are actually starting to print, on an experimental basis, actually organs. They believe that one day they will be able to actually create a kidney. Now, the main breakthrough in this is, as you know, some of you who've known about kidney transplant, is the main problem is the body's natural rejection to foreign tissue. My own brother had a kidney transplant. It was probably one of the longest kidney transplants in California. It lasted 40 years. That is because he was a twin. But most kidneys only last 8 years. What they will be able to do is, if they will be able to create this kidney, they will have no further problem with rejection because it's made out of the individual's tissue itself. I don't have time to go into it much longer, but I want to give you the main benefits of 3D printing. Cheap manufacturing saves over 70%, quick production, less waste, better quality, accessibility, new shapes and structures that were not possible because of the computer's precision, new combination of materials including chemicals, and new business models. Entrepreneurs are obviously going to take advantage of it. Jay Leno, by the way, the comedian, has an airplane hangars full of old cars, some of them 100 years old. Many of them can't run because the parts are not manufactured anymore. He has bought a machine for $15,000. He takes that part in there, puts it in there. They slice it like a salami. They create a computer 3D model of it, and they print a product, and he's been able to make these cars run that are 100 years old. So this is the future.